Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Captain Dalian.
Terry the French Tickler. French.
And the Knucklehead. This week's episode, we're going to delve a little deeper into the great thing called the DC Rebirth. DC has recently relaunched all their titles. To go into it further, we're going to start off with Captain Dalian.
Yeah, we had a Facebook message from a reader that wanted us to kind of go into talk more about as you said, about the Rebirth. Basically, with ending the New 52.
What leads into Rebirth?
Well, they realized that there was a lot of backlash with the New 52 universe. A lot of people, bad taste in their mouth. So the powers that be Jeff Johns, Dan DiDio, and Jim Lee, decided they would kind of look at it and kind of put it back to good, in a sense. And so what they did is they released an 80-page special called DC Rebirth, DC Universe Rebirth, which has, as of this recording, gone to a fourth print already. So basically when they announced that they're doing 32 books a month, or 32 published books. When they did the 52, they did 52 books. They're doing 32 now.
The New 52 was sort of a reboot. So what was broken about New 52 that they felt they had to do Rebirth?
The way that people interacted with each other in the previous DC universe wasn't there. Time-wise, some stories were set 5 years before. Some series were set 5 years after. There was a whole, like I said, timeline problem. And it really actually breaks down to one central thing. There was no Wally West. And without Wally West, there's no love. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it wasn't the fact that there just wasn't any Wally West, but it does carry into Rebirth that Wally West was not there, and something was basically changing some stuff in the timeline.
Right.
Now, with Rebirth comparison, going on with the New 52, your experience of Comic Empire Tulsa, which is the comic shop, you hang out a ton. Everyone in Tulsa likes hanging out at Comic Empire. Comparison with number of reader subscribers to the New 52 versus Rebirth, which is getting more likes, pickups? So
far, it's actually been the Rebirth. People are coming back to check it out, find out what has changed.
Because New 52 killed off a lot of...
They killed off a lot of things and left a lot of people cold.
Right.
Cold feeling with the stuff. It was not... There wasn't that warm, fuzzy feeling you get from reading one of the books.
I mean, it did hurt a lot of DC's longtime readers, longtime subscribers. A lot of people were not very happy with New 52. Overall, there's a lot of fans of the New 52.
The thing about the New 52 is the fans didn't see a need for a reboot.
No,
they didn't. It seemed to be going along just fine.
Yeah.
So they didn't see a need for a reboot. But it was kind of out of the blue when they... Although it's supposed to be in the background, had been in planning for quite some time, but I think it came as out of the blue to a lot of the readers.
Yeah, the execution of it was
right.
With the Rebirth, they're doing, like I said, 32 books. They're going to eventually get up to 32 books. Right now, they're going to be doing 17 bi-monthly books and 13 monthly books. Or not bi-monthly, I'm sorry, bi-weekly books. Title-wise, Action Comics and Detective Comics has finally come back to their original numbering.
Okay.
Which is 900 something, 967 I think for Action, 968.
Right. Right around there.
Yeah, and 930 or 953 somewhere for Detective.
But not Batman.
No, not Batman.
Batman did not go back to its original numbering.
Stayed back.
Which I was hoping it would go back to its original.
I think a lot of people were hoping it would start the renumbering or pick up the old numbering or pick up the numbering, adding in the 52, get the new numbering, but they didn't do that.
So story-wise, what's the story of DC Rebirth? What's going on in the DC universe?
Something has stolen 10 years out of the heroes or the DC universe. Basically, 10 years is missing. At the end of DC Rebirth, we have Wally West returning to the DC universe via Barry Allen, helping him come out of the Speed Force.
And that's like we discussed in the last episode. That's when I guess a spark or something is coming.
Right. Everything's and then
reigniting the memory because then later on it shows in the Teen Titans they don't know who he is until
and I touch him or something. I was wrong about that. You were right.
And that's not a big deal.
No,
but they somehow they're fighting and they grab a hold of him and some kinetic energy or something shoots out and then that sort of boom, some memories start flooding back in.
Titans will be the book that they have said they're going to do a 1 year overarching story, and people are kind of worried that everyone's going to deal with this story and try to ride around it. The story is that in Titans will be who stole the time,
which is I thought was interesting to me was although they didn't remember anything, they had this feeling of missing something. Something was gone in their life.
Uh-huh. Two people also working together on this is Batman and Barry Allen. Because at the end of Rebirth, you see Batman finding a smiley face with the blood on it.
Right.
Which readers know is a sign of the Watchmen. Anyway, but the Titans book will be the one that they're trying to solve the mystery of where the time went.
And Wally seemed to be excited to be, hey, I'm getting to work with Batman.
Yeah, he was. He was happy about that a little bit.
Now that we've kind of discussed, what kind of kicks this off, who seems to be behind it?
They don't know.
At first, I know, I think we discussed.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit about probably Darkseid and something, but then they think,
At first, Wally, I think it is Darkseid, but then he realizes it's something older, possibly much ancient,
or something not of that world.
Right. So we don't know what that is yet.
No.
So that brings us to.
But it's interesting with this though is that we now have 3 Jokers. Running around.
Maybe.
No, we have 3 Jokers running around in the DC.
We have
universe.
something going on, and Batman's looking into it. I thought he said something. He doesn't believe there's 3 Jokers.
No, because that's what he was whispered. Because back in the
I remember that. But then
the chair told him that there were 3 Jokers because he couldn't give him a name.
He's talking to who's he talking to? Is it Alfred that he's talking to? And he's looking at this in the Batcave, and I don't think he thinks there's 3 Jokers, but he thinks something funky's going on.
Well,
I don't want 3 Jokers running
Well, they
around.
have said
one's enough to deal with.
Well, 1 is enough, but now you got 3.
Batman.
You'll have 3 Jokers. There's 2 Lois Lanes running around.
There's now
and
actually
Superman can't complain about that.
We had Superman die.
Right. We had
but then we had
Superman pass away.
At least a Clark Kent come back.
Clark Kent has returned.
So we kind of have maybe 2 Supermans again. We don't know. Clark Kent right now.
Because he said he doesn't have his powers.
Well, did he say he didn't have his powers?
Yeah, he doesn't have his powers. He doesn't have it.
Or he doesn't know.
No, he didn't have it. Because Jimmy's trying to time for you to go be Superman. He's like, Jimmy, I'm not Superman no more. Or at all.
I don't even think he knew was Superman or could have been Superman. I don't know. If he even realized that he could have been Superman or whatever.
So with the 30 different titles right now, they're not up to 32?
They're not up to 32 yet. They're slowly building them up.
Of the
instead of like with 52, they not launch all 52 at one time.
It was two.
They learned
over
their
the
lesson
top.
from that. Yes.
With a 30, which titles are you paying most attention to, and why, and what are their storylines so far?
So far, I've enjoyed. I'm looking forward to Titans, obviously. Seeing Wally and Dick Grayson and Roy Harper and Starfire and Donna Troy back together again. Mm-hmm. Being a Teen Titans fan, I'm going to Teen Titans. I'm looking forward to that. I find myself actually enjoying the Green Lanterns.
Well, you've even been enjoying Green Lanterns for quite some time.
Right, I have.
Was it Jeff Lemire run that you really enjoyed?
I like the Jeff Johns run when he did Green Lantern Rebirth and brought Hal Jordan.
Why am I thinking Jeff Lemire? Didn't he do a run?
He did the Green Arrow. That was really good before the pre.
That's right. He did the Green Arrow. He did something green.
And right now
that was a good run. Yeah,
that's all Green Arrow.
And right now, Green Lanterns is focusing on 2 new Lanterns.
Right.
We have Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. Then actually with Baz, he is the first Lebanese American Green Lantern. He was recruited during a mix-up between the federal government and because he's a Muslim. So there's kind of that kind of
political,
not looking at him right. Hey, you're kind of the bad guy, but you're really not. You're a hero kind of thing. Jessica Cruz, she actually was the power ring which is an anti-Green Lantern, and she kind of overcame that and was found to be worthy enough to carry our Green Lantern ring. And so Hal's kind of thrown them both together and
just started interrupting. But again, there could be some spoilers in here, so listen carefully.
We forget to say that at the beginning. Yes.
Right, we keep forgetting to tell you there could be some spoilers in here.
Spoiled you.
We don't really want to spoil too much for you. So if there's something that you don't want to be spoiled about, you might want to skip ahead to something else, or try to find another point at which you can enter in that you want to listen to. But yeah, we don't want to spoil anything. So what are you enjoying about the new rebirth of the Green Lanterns?
Just it's kind of just the new characters. I mean, these aren't the same. It's not Hal Jordan. It's not. There's nothing against Hal.
Is there anything wrong with the old character? No,
there's nothing wrong with it. But it's kind of seeing.
So it's not.
It's to spruce them up,
right? So it's just the stories seem more fresher now, and I'm finding that with all the books, not just the Green Lanterns, Action Comics. And we talked earlier, and it seems fresher. It's all the stories just seem fresher.
Most of them seem pretty good that I've read.
I haven't read one that said, "Oh, I've seen this 14 years ago."
So,
Do you see a lot of the titles crossing over?
Not so much yet.
no, which is good. I mean, because if you're a reader, I think you're tired of all the crossovers, so you don't want to have to. You don't want to have to pick up a title that you don't typically read just so you can get the full story. Follow the story.
I do know that next couple months they're doing a Batman family crossover, Rise of the Monster Man, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, granted, if the Green Lanterns crossed over with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, that would be fine. But a lot of times, no, not a whole lot of crossover right now. Of course, most books are at 1, 2, and 3 issues, and some are even on their rebirths. They're a staggering amount. So
have you read the last 2 issues of Action?
I have read the last 2 issues of Action.
What'd you think about that?
I actually liking Lex Luthor.
Really?
As kind of a hero kind of thing. The whole story with him not believing that this new Superman's come on the scene, which is actually the pre-52 Superman. There's kind of skepticism, but they're kind of working together, and it's that way of both of them. They're both not wanting to trust each other, but they're having to.
In the last 2 issues of Action, just previously before that, we got to see the death of a Superman, and like we were just talking, we get to see the new Superman coming back. I kind of wish he would just, since he is this new Superman, I guess he's now donning the red, blue, and yellow of the new Superman instead of the black uniform that was using at first.
He's gone to the classic pre-52 Superman outfit, yeah.
And then, like I said, we have Clark Kent showing up. He doesn't know or think that he has powers. And then we have Lex Luthor, who thinks he's a Superman as well. He's wearing a suit, I guess, powered by the Omnibox.
Yeah, the Mother Box that he acquired from the Darkseid War.
Yep. And they're battling Doomsday, excuse me.
Yeah, and it seems like this Doomsday is like the pre-52 Doomsday. It's not the new 52. So, I mean... And for Superman to go up against this creature again, that seems more violent than the previous one. But
I'm not liking the new Lex.
Superman's
not. He's not. And in the book, he's like, I don't know what to make of this new Lex.
Exactly. Yeah, because for him, the previous Lex in his universe in the pre-52 was a conniving guy who wanted to kill him. Villain.
Off and on. Yeah.
Well, towards Superman, he was always a villain. Now he's Lex is kind of paying homage to the new 52 Superman by taking his super symbol, the House of L symbol, and putting it on his armor and trying to be the hero. And the dialogue between the two, there's a scene where there's some people need to be saving, and
Lex Luthor doesn't want to save. Well, it's not that he doesn't want to save them. He just wants to get in there and battle Doomsday.
Right, and then Superman's like, "No, you go save the people. I'll take." But he's like,
Lex isn't used to taking orders.
No, but he does. Well, and he
finally concedes.
He does, but in a way, he is used to it because he joined the Justice League.
But no, as a whole, that character's not used to taking orders. No. He's used to giving orders.
Right, but he's also had a change, from the pre-52 universe to this time.
Yeah, it won't be long before he changes back, though.
Probably not.
I was hoping. He's squaring off against Doomsday, and he's got the suit on. It's powered by the Omnibox. I don't know if it protects his entire body because his head's exposed. He doesn't have the suit on in his head. And Doomsday basically had him by the head. I was hoping to see, some rip the head off of Lex Luthor, and I thought then we could see another Lex Luthor, I guess, appear. But I would have liked to see that.
From where?
I don't know. Somewhere, probably. We keep getting Superman or Clark Kent show up. So
if they did do that, then Clark Kent could shave his head and be the villain.
It could be.
So then you'd have Superman, Clark Kent being the good guy, and Clark Kent no powers, he was the bad guy.
But that's the thing that's kind of funny with this is people just keep on popping up.
Right. So well, they're going to because they're combining them and everything,
right.
Kind of melding the universe. It's going to happen.
So that's weird. I guess that will be explained as we go along.
I think so. With this in the Rebirth universe, Superman, like I said, the pre-52 Superman's back. So is Lois, and with them they brought their son Jonathan. And that's
who apparently has superpowers as well.
He's half Kryptonian, half human, which they showed up during the Convergence event, which was a kind of a band-aid when the DC moved their offices from New York to L.A. They needed a 2-month time, so they put these Convergence books out and kind of cover that shipping.
I don't think too many people were too happy with the Convergence.
They weren't really too happy, but several things came out of that. Obviously, pre-52 Superman and Lois being back in the New 52 universe, and Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing, yeah. The Kelly Jones Swamp Thing.
Kelly Jones Swamp Thing with Lin Wynn.
Yep.
Writing it, yes.
And that was, if you guys haven't read that,
and that actually
I highly recommend it. That was a really good read.
That actually led to a 6-issue miniseries.
Yes.
Which they've wrapped up, and I have heard rumors that Kelly Jones is coming back to do a Dead Man series, but that's later.
I've been reading Batman.
Mm-hmm.
For New
How are you liking the new heroes?
How am I liking the new? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about Gotham and Gotham Girl.
I don't know yet. They're growing on me, but I think their costumes are just silly with the big G on there, and I don't know who decided to pick out that font. I guess it's supposed to be Art Deco or something, to mimic the city. They grew up in Gotham, helped out by Batman early on, so they're kind of paying homage. You were thinking that they may not be paying homage too long, that they may be something other than what they're pretending to be.
They possibly could be villains.
What makes you think that?
Well, they've introduced the villain right now in Batman, classic villain, Dr. Hugo Strange.
Hugo Strange, yeah.
Who is
Golden Age villain.
Psychologist.
Warped one.
Very warped. I don't know. I just have this feeling that, I'm not expecting it all being bright and sunny with them.
What exactly is Hugo doing? I read it, and I'm not quite sure what he's working on right now.
I think he's taking normal Gotham citizens, and through his psychiatry, manipulation, I don't really turning them into monsters.
I suppose.
Because you had the first issue, you had what? Solomon Grundy?
Solomon Grundy on the loose with a bomb.
Which is very odd for Solomon Grundy.
Well, he's normally not a typical Batman villain either, so...
Well, no, but for him to be... obviously for him to be using a bomb, Solomon Grundy's a force of nature.
Well, he didn't know that he had a bomb.
Well, no, right. So therefore something said something was wrong with him because, he was like, I don't remember, what am I doing here, kind of.
Because the guy that planted a bomb on him went to Gordon's office and talked about, he had this bomb, but he was saying he wasn't supposed to have escaped.
Right. Well, look what that guy did.
Yeah,
He killed himself.
So that has to be something to do with Hugo Strange somehow manipulating his mind. So after he gave this information, he cut his throat and bled all over Gordon's desk. That's what we have going on in Batman so far.
What about this Justice League?
Justice League I did pick up.
Right,
Justice League number 1. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It was a big battle, basically.
It was.
It is a big battle.
And you read it, right?
I liked it. I've been more of a Marvel reader my life, but I do like the Rebirth. I like that it's cheaper in price.
My next question, you being a big Marvel zombie fan that you have been, you coming into this not knowing a whole lot about the DC universe, except what you saw on TV and movies and dabbled here.
Yeah, I've done some reading of it.
How are you finding it accessible for new?
I've enjoyed it. I like the lower price, the $2.99. You can make your money stretch further with DC. The artwork I do like. None of the superheroes are drawing way crazy over the top as far as muscled out and just nuts looking. The Justice League, with it starting on Wonder Woman fighting, and then all the earthquakes start happening, and it jumps over to the Green Lanterns, and then it jumps over to Flash, and where's Batman, where's Superman, and Superman's flying all over the place helping people out. I liked it, and then you see all the people that they're trying to save, even down in Atlantis where Aquaman is. All their eyes start turning red, and then start saying, the Justice League's powers are stolen, that the Kindred are coming. The overall structure of the book, I liked. The flow was good. I liked the panels. I liked the artwork. The read was really good. I picked it up, the number 1 issue of it, read it through. I picked up the Batgirl Birds of Prey. I didn't like as much as the Justice League, but the Batgirl one was really good too. It touches, and I think probably because of the timing, a little bit as far as her being when she was in the wheelchair, going back to the Killing Joke, what happened to her, and then going to where she had the surgery done where she's no longer in the wheelchair, and then her getting Dinah back together for the Birds of Prey. There's a character that uses Batgirl's name Oracle in it, and I thought both of them were really good reads. I'm going to follow those storylines.
I did like how in the original Birds of Prey it was Black Canary and Batgirl, and then they added Huntress. So you had those 3, and I know the last page, it's a spoiler. Who shows up?
The Huntress.
Well, we had to have the Huntress.
You had to have the Huntress. So
she was leaving.
It's kind of like she makes a comment, getting the band back together.
Right. Well, she was previously before Rebirth. She was in the agency.
Right. She was a member of
with Dick.
The Spiral.
The Spiral. Right. Justice League, to me, like I said, it was a big battle. it really there wasn't a lot of story to it. It was more of a setup issue.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting you ready for that to come. And what did you think of the Kindred? What
the Kindred have really no history in the DC universe. They're more if it's the Kindred from Wildstorm.
Yeah, that's going to kick into the announcement
Jim Lee
announced
that he's getting ready to make.
Big announcement according to Jim Lee.
Big announcement that's going to deal with the.
And you're excited about it because you're.
I am. I enjoyed Wildcats and Stormwatch and Gen 13 to a degree and Backlash and those characters dealt with Kindred. Kindred, if I'm correct, were a lot of them were villains. So I think. And some were heroes.
Is there anything in the Wildstorm universe that's ancient that could be the big bad villain that's going to be introduced into?
I don't know.
Or is it just going to be? I mean, I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Could it be something we need to be looking out for?
It could be.
Nothing. I can't think of anything.
I know. I don't think it's Lord Despot, which was a great Wildstorm villain.
So it's probably. I'm guessing going to be something just brand new. It's probably.
Their speculation is that Dr. Manhattan created the New 52, and that's why there was no what they say love in it was because he's a cold, emotionless being.
Right.
So there's possibly some of the Watchmen characters could already be in the New 52, in the Rebirth, and we just haven't seen them, or we have seen them and don't know.
Well, who was? Let me go back. I can't remember who was it.
Before we jump to that, I want to jump on the Justice League real quick.
All right, go ahead.
So, and it goes back to the Superman conversation we were just having about the distrust. I loved it when Batman asked Cyborg, "Where's he at?" Doesn't call him Superman. Doesn't say, "Hey, where's Clark?" He's like, "Where's he at?" And then Cyborg's like, "Oh, he's going all over the world helping people."
Right.
I thought that was kind of really cool, I mean,
who was it that Wally went to the retirement home?
Barry.
Well, it was.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking Watchmen, but no, that he was part of the old.
It was the JSA.
JSA.
Yeah, it was the JSA.
So, that is at least tying in older characters.
Right.
There.
Yes, exactly.
So could also why they're tying in Watchmen? They're bringing back some of those characters.
It could be. There's a character running around now. It's been out a little bit before this in the New 52 called Mr. Oz. We don't know who Mr. Oz is. Mr. Oz's first appearance happens to be in Superman number 32, which was the first Jeff Johns Superman issue. Could he be Mr. Oz? Could he be Ozymandias from Watchmen?
That's what I was thinking. Ozymandias, possibly.
Especially. That's kind of a key book to kind of speculate on if you do that kind of sort of thing. I kind of felt like you were saying with Birds of Prey. It was kind of.
I mean, I think it was a decent read. It's definitely set up for issue number 2. Justice League, I thought overall I liked it. I don't think it was. Yeah, I mean there wasn't tons of stuff going on as far as storyline, but it's their first issue. You got a segment. Where's Aquaman? Where's Flash? What's going on with Wonder Woman and all that stuff. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty good as a Marvelite or a Marvel zombie, whatever you would call us Marvel people. I liked it. I think the Rebirth is doing it right so far, and I do like the lower price point. It'll be interesting to see what it goes from. And I like some of the Rebirth variants. I've noticed they've done a lot of pretty cool variants I've seen online and in stores. Some of them are going for pretty high now.
It's funny because last show we mentioned about Frank Cho leading Wonder Woman.
Right.
And I finally kind of read the newest number 3 of Wonder Woman. And they're doing something kind of odd in that book. It's like the even issues deal with current times, and the odd issues are year 1 stories, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing to do.
I think a lot of the new Rebirth stuff has been.
Skip,
I think a lot of the new Rebirths have been, giving you a little bit of backstory of what previously happened.
Right, but it's every other issue being a year 1 story, and so if you just want to know the current Wonder Woman stuff, you could skip every other issue. So I mean, in a way, but if you read them together, it kind of fills in
those gaps
and kind of gives you a better story. Yeah.
Right. So I read Nightwing.
You weren't happy with Nightwing.
I wasn't happy with Nightwing.
You thought he was whiny.
I thought he was kind of whiny.
I think the word was used was emo whiny. I believe.
Oh yeah, he seemed a little emo whiny. He just left the agency. He was Agent 37. And he just didn't feel that the secret, being a secret agent and undercover work worked for him. And he was sort of a mentor 36. For Damien, and they're going to the arcade, and
which I thought was a fun story. That I really did.
I
it just kind of shows the dynamic, kind of the big brother, little brother kind of,
I guess,
thing. Hey, yeah, don't tell Dad we did this. We went to the arcade.
It was kind of to me like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. Oh, I guess I'll be Nightwing again.
Well, no, and he wasn't like that. Because he was talking to Bruce in the cave, and he's like, he goes, do you think you know what you're gonna do? He goes, well, I think I do, and
what I'm gonna do. Well,
I know what I want to do. I think it's time, And Bruce is like, are you sure? Are you ready for this? And he's like, yeah, it's been enough time. And so and it's funny because the look on Bruce's face when he goes over the keypad and it puts his hand on it, it's like, I didn't know he could do. I didn't know that was there, kind of thing. And he walks in and he comes back out and he's wearing the Nightwing, the blue Nightwing suit, not the red one, but the classic blue Nightwing suit.
Also, I want to go back. I guess I thought was interesting was the in Batman the new Alfred with attitude. He was being a little bit snippy. Well, not that he hasn't been in the past, but it seemed just even more so.
And he has his hand because he lost his hand.
He has
Joker
his hand.
cut his hand off and
has his hand back.
52 universe.
So, I mean, universes allow the remaining
I guess
hands.
so.
Or he's part chameleon.
Yeah, there you go.
Just regroup. But yeah, he's like Batman's going. He's got to leave. He's got to go save Gotham again. And he says something to the effect, "Oh, Gotham is in dire distress again," or something like that.
Because he had a party he had to go to.
Right, and he goes,
there was a party upstairs.
You're gonna have to leave the party early or something like that. Like that's never happened before. Yeah. So I was kind of.
As Terry, do you like the new Batman? For someone that's a Batman fan, he complains a lot about Batman.
He doesn't.
God,
I like.
He's a Batman fan for life until now.
No, I like
Rebirth
Batman.
This dude great. He hates it. 2 mics from Terry.
I enjoyed the new 52 stuff. I mean, I think most people did with the Batman title. I enjoyed the detective stuff as well.
Nothing changed.
And I'm enjoying Batman in these issues as well. Just some of the surrounding characters. I know, but I like Alfred. I like his snippetiness.
Well, it's
Gotham and Gotham Girl that just they actually kind of cracked me up though. In the issue of Batman, they were like, we should have a rallying cry. Gotham says, and then at one point they're busting in and Gotham Girl, she yells, "Go Gothams!" or something like that, So that cracked me up a little bit. That kind of
goes back to the Avengers Assemble.
Goes back, sort of playing.
Titans Unite, kind of. Yeah, kids, the girls are calling him, or sure have called him if they read it, Sassy Alfred.
The Sassy Alfred.
Sassy Alfred.
He's being a little sassy, yeah.
A little sassy
He's got some sassy pants on.
Which actually kind of reminds me of Jarvis.
Yeah.
From the Iron Mans. The Iron Man movies, yeah.
Right.
Now, with the going back to the 1-year arc story with the Titans that stole the time, do you think at the end of the year period, could we see another reboot or some major universe thing happen?
I don't think we'll see anything
suddenly the time's restored. Or...
I think time will probably be restored.
Okay.
We'll figure out who it is. I imagine there'll be a big...
I think that's what they're working on.
Maybe a crossover at that point. That, hey, we're going, but I don't think it's going to be 12 issue. Hey, we're going to redo. I think maybe a 4-issue series or something.
I don't think it's going to be a rebirth for a while. Or not, I don't think it's going to be a reboot for a while.
I think this has been. They've gotten so much positive out of this. I think I think this eventually will drop the rebirth.
But they're going to be building this story up.
You can only carry this baby
with Wally, and they're going to be building up the story with Wally and Batman, trying to figure out what's going on. So that's going to continue on in those issues off and on, trying to figure out what's going on. That'll culminate to finding out who it is, a big battle. We'll have some crossovers then, and then we'll continue on with. They'll probably by that time maybe drop the Rebirth name,
right? Well, yeah,
and continue on.
Because eventually, after 30 issues, we drop New 52.
Then it'll be a while.
I don't think we'll have a rebirth, a reboot every time after Rebirth. Yeah.
Well, people
they're going to bring back the Justice Society. That'll be good. People have been asking about that.
Have they had any, since I'm Marvel?
Right. I know, yeah.
Have they had any new characters besides Gotham, besides Terry's favorite Gotham?
Actually, there is a new villain that just showed up with Flash.
Okay.
And we know we're dealing with Speed Force, and Terry loves Speed Force, so we're going to talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Godspeed, it's new villain, and his power is...
He cracks me up, actually.
His power is not comedy.
When I was thinking about it...
We'll get to his power in a second.
When I was thinking about it just cracked me up. I could just see like somebody, a fairy godmother running around with a magic wand, and he... Ding! You have speed powers now, And that just cracked me up. Running around. Ding! Okay, you have speed powers.
But he's
So what is his
He's
power?
a villain. He can give speed powers to others, and then
But it really hadn't said to what
some,
end.
But some of them
Other than that
will become villains. Some will become heroes. One character that will get speed powers from him, I think, has gotten is the new 52 Wally West.
Okay.
Has gotten speed powers from him. So some of these people he's given the powers to will be heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Some will be villains. But that's a new villain to come up.
But to what end? Why is he giving them power? You don't know. What are you speculating?
Why do villains do a lot of things?
Yep.
Well,
I will say with all these speedsters in around.
What we were saying though is that they use the speed force or the speed power and they eventually drains them of energy. Is he possibly getting mana sucking their life force from them?
Possibly.
That way?
Could be.
Little mana leak.
Yeah, mana leak.
Yeah,
tap. Tap for mana leak. Are you Magic players?
Did you read the Green Arrow?
I've been reading Green Arrow. Yep. Green Arrows. I've always had a fondness for Green Arrow ever since the Mike Grell run. God, that was a great run. If anybody has not read Longbow Hunters, and then read a pretty good run of Mike Grell on Green Arrow series.
68, 72.
Yeah, it's pretty good all the way through. And some of the characters that you've seen them probably in the TV show Shadow. It's great. So a lot of people, if they haven't watched the show and haven't read Longbow Hunters, it's fabulous read. You really need to read it.
Are you reading the new 52? The Rebirth.
He's got back together with Mockingbird. They don't really know each. No, they haven't got back together, but they've teamed up.
Canary.
Black Canary. Yeah, not Mockingbird. But she's Mockingbird.
No, it's
no.
Canary.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking Marvel. Sorry. Yeah, Black Canary. So they got back together. They're just going at each other. Verbally. Oh, you're this rich guy just running around in some tights, thinking you're saving the world, and then it kind of gives her backstory, and it's really good repartee between the two characters.
If you go back to the Rebirth special, Wally sees them at different times and realizes that the love they have for each other is missing.
Right.
And so that's why I mentioned about the love.
Well, I wasn't sure if he was like the love is missing or it's just there to be reborn. It hadn't died. It's just
because they'd never met each other.
Right. They hadn't met each other. So they're just now meeting each other.
Before they were a couple.
Right.
And they were even married. So there's that love wasn't in the new 52. Seeing them together in the Rebirth, it's pretty cool to see.
So it's still there. They just hadn't met yet. You can see it's starting again. Yeah, they're facing off against some villains that I don't know if they're related or not to an earlier New 52 story where they were having auctions of supervillain paraphernalia. And in this issue, they're auctioning off humans that are basically people without homes, underground people, or just homeless people. Yeah, they're auctioning them off to whoever for whatever reasons. And so,
they're sending them off to this guy that has this ocean base kind of.
Well, they're auctioning them off, and this is one of the particular buyers.
Right. Yeah.
And they're going in to find out what's going on and to stop that. So it's been a pretty good read.
Well, this from reading the Rebirth issue of Green Arrow, he's kind of.
Sure, it's not Mockingbird.
No, it's
I'm just joking.
No, it's Black Canary. He's kind of. It seems like they're kind of moving him back towards being a social justice warrior.
Well, you use those words in the book,
right?
Social justice warrior.
So I'm saying, but they're moving him back from where before he wasn't that way. In the New 52 stuff. So they're kind of moving him back to there, which kind of falls into line with what you were saying about the Mike Grell.
Yes.
Green Arrows he was a social justice warrior. He didn't don the costume. Everyone knew he was Green Arrow. Right. He was Oliver Queen. Doing all this stuff, not Green Arrow.
And at some point, I don't remember what, he lost his fortune as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he eventually regained his fortune,
mm-hmm.
which, they're usually going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
because, Bruce lost his fortune.
But he keeps getting it back.
But he got it back now. So, obviously, Rebirth can bring back fortunes and arms.
Exactly. You've been reading Aquaman, right?
I have been reading Aquaman. Aquaman is like the redheaded stepchild of DC Universe when it comes to heroes.
Always.
The Rebirth.
He has two hands too.
He does have two hands. He
doesn't have a hook.
No. That was in the 90s.
That was in the 90s. I like that. I like that Aquaman though.
The New 52 was started off. Aquaman started off by Jeff Johns, and it was good until Jeff Johns left. This Rebirth is written by Dan Abnett, who is half the writing team of DNA, which was Dan Abnett and Lanning, I believe his last name. And so he's writing it with the art by Brad Walker, and it's been really interesting because Aquaman wants to bring Atlantis to the table to the United Nations, and because they're he's he controls pretty much 80% of the world pretty much, but he wants to kind of, and they've been shunned, so he wants to bring them up into basically the bargaining table, the collective powers that be, United States, Russia, Atlantis, kind of thing. They actually started an embassy that was like right off the shore, for the people that people could come to and visit and learn more about Atlantis, and it's been good. Actually, the Green Lanterns, I say, was one of my favorites of the Rebirth. I'd throw Aquaman as a close second.
What, as far as title wise, has been the number one you've been surprised at?
That I've liked, really, Superman in action.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's really, to me, I think most people agree, it's hard to write Superman because he is an omnipotent character.
Right, and so you have to have that level of villain. So,
and it's been pretty good. The new Superman story where he's been laying low, trying to protect his family.
That Lois and Clark.
Right. It's brought more of a human element to him, having a family. So it's been pretty interesting. How long that remains, I don't know.
Well, the Superman book, action's dealing with Doomsday and him coming back and Luthor. The regular Superman book is dealing with Jonathan Kent having his powers developing.
Yeah.
Right. Being a Cat fan, I was kind of upset with it was the Rebirth special or the first issue when he's trying to get his Lois's cat, and he picks the cat up and his eye beams go off, vaporizing the cat. I didn't like that, but it's fine. That's it wasn't done intentionally. It was happening on accident. So they've been kind of dealing with that, and the newest deal is the Eradicator has come back and is trying to eradicate the
That's what Eradicators do.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
That's what they do. The
otherwise. You're not living up to your name.
The flaw, they call it, in Jonathan's DNA. Because he's half human, half Kryptonian. So they're dealing with that right now. But it's been really good. And so I kind of hate that.
So the new, is there any new 52 titles that are coming out that you're looking forward to, more so than others?
Rebirth titles?
Yeah.
Rebirth?
Not new, yeah,
we're past that. We're past the
Are we done with New 52?
We're past that.
Are we done with it now?
Yeah.
We are, yes. Actually, it's quite a few. I'm looking forward to All-Star Batman.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to have some pretty interesting covers.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Jog does for it.
First story arc is John Romita Jr. is doing the art.
Your big love of Romita Jr.'s art.
Yes.
I know you like his old style, but
I like his old style. I'm not a huge fan of his new style, but
or current style. It's been his style for a while now.
Right. But I think with Batman, it'll fit better.
Could fit. I mean, I thought it worked well with a lot of kick-ass stuff.
I'm really looking forward to Deathstroke.
Yeah, I think Deathstroke.
The new 52.
The new 52 Deathstroke was good. So.
Not the first part of it. The second series was, I thought, was really
I liked
good.
it all, but yeah, I agree. The second Deathstroke was great.
How about Red Hood and the Outlaws?
I actually have to say that I really enjoyed Red Hood and Arsenal, 13 issue, 14 issue.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up at first, but I started getting into it as later on, and
it was actually fun. Roy and Jason, hiring. It was basically like Heroes for Hire. That's what they were, and so it was pretty cool. Looking forward to Deathstroke. Red Hood and the Outlaws.
You got the Suicide Squad
All-Star
coming
Batman. Supergirl.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really interesting. Blue Beetle could be really good.
They need to bring back a question series. They're bringing Blue Beetle. They need question.
Well, they also need to bring back. And the Blue Beetle will be interesting for fans who liked.
Maybe he'll guest star in the back.
Maybe. Who liked Ted Cord, Blue Beetle, because he's going to be mentoring Jaime Mendoza. Not Mendoza, it's an artist.
Harley Quinn's getting a title.
Shocking. He's going to be mentoring Jaime and learning to use the Blue Beetle alien costume.
So with maybe a DC lover that has gotten out of comics that's now getting back into comics, or maybe someone that does Marvel, Image, IDW, and some DC, let's say you can pick 3 titles, say, hey, you can still go back to the number one, get it fairly cheap enough, avoid the variants and all that stuff. Well, some of them. Which 3 would you recommend? I
would recommend Green Lantern, Detective, and Batman.
I've actually liked so far with Detective. I like the new team that they're forming to protect Gotham, more so than Gotham Girl and Gotham. I like this team. I like they're bringing in Batwoman. I like this Batwoman. She's no nonsense, and she's getting this team formed up, and she's putting them through the paces. I am especially interested in Basil Clayface,
Right.
entering in
As a
hero for the team. Is interesting that he kind of just wants to try to put this stuff past him. He wants to move on, I think, and he would like to get back into acting. But being as what he is, he can't. But yeah, the detective has been pretty interesting, and I'm really enjoying this team. It's got we've got Spoiler in the team. We've got Robin. Who else in that?
Well, not just any Robin. Sam Drake Robin.
Sam Drake Robin.
Yeah.
Who else is on the team now?
You've got she's going by Orphan.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Cassandra Cain.
Cassandra Cain, yeah.
Who actually you've got 2 former Batgirls on
probably
the team.
not doesn't have any real social skills, but probably the best fighter of the group.
Well, yeah, Batman and her could go 1-on-1 and be almost to a draw.
So far, I highly recommend the Detective, more so than Batman, which is kind of changing from New 52. Batman was the big book to read in New 52.
Yep.
Detective was sort of the redheaded stepchild there for a while. So they've kind of switched places again. I've always liked the character Flash, but I've never really picked up his title every so often.
You don't like the Speed Force.
Right. But I've liked what I've read of Flash so far.
When I saw the art on it, I was just like, as I was reading it, I was like, the art is kind of like, has this like hyperkinetic energy to it that kind of just fits the story. I mean, it's kind of like, it's good.
If we're going art-wise, the worst to me so far has been Birds of Prey. Everybody has a horse nose.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. I did notice that. In the
I'm actually about halfway through that issue, so I haven't got it.
So far, it's on a 1.5 mic on the Terry.
Yeah.
So, but the story so far has been okay. But yeah, the art. So if you're a big art snob, that's probably not
the very first cover, the page of it. Batgirl looks manly.
Yeah,
she looks rough.
Throw an Adam's apple on it, and there you go.
Yeah. Another book I think will be interesting to see the dynamic of is Teen Titans, led by Damian, with Superboy being John Kent. Sorry.
Well, it's also interesting. As a team, they felt something was missing. Mm-hmm. So now that something that's missing is kind of coming back to see how that changes the dynamics of the team, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, with Titans, yeah.
Right.
And with Teen Titans.
Oh, with Teen Titans, right.
Well, and also you've got Wally West, Kid Flash Wally, not redheaded Wally, but the other Wally, I think will be on that team also.
What about Superwoman?
Superwoman is Lois Lane. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll check it out when it comes out.
Right.
Who knows? It may be one of my favorites. Yeah. Who knows?
Might be a great one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn. I'm for the longest with 52. I was only down for 2 DC books, so I'm really kind of torn now on which ones I want to add on this rebirth because I have not read a horrible one yet.
That's what I've seen a lot of reviews. Across the board, everything's been way up for DC.
How's Hellblazer going to fit back into the universe? This new rebirth?
I don't know, but I'm not sure. I have not had a chance to read that one yet.
But I do know. Does it?
Well, yeah, it came out last Wednesday.
Come out last Wednesday?
Yeah, I do know Swamp Thing will show up in it, calling in a favor.
Overall, I would definitely say if you haven't started reading the Rebirth, pick up some of the issues. If you've been a Batman detective fan, Detective's a way to go. Superman, Action Comics. I like the Justice League. I like comics with multiple heroes in them. Right. X-Men, there's always been more than one mutant.
Really?
They've done, they've done, Solo, Wolverine has his own series, Cyclops and Phoenix have their own series, all that. Nightcrawler, all that.
Well, definitely with Rebirth, go ahead and pick up that first Rebirth issue, 80-page special. That was a really good read. Really kicks it off, and it'll probably draw your interest towards the other titles.
Some titles tie in
better than others.
I pick that up and then pick up Flash Rebirth and Flash 1. It ties right in with it really well. Birds of Prey doesn't really tie much into it, but it works. It's a good jumping on point.
With the 4th printing, you should be able to find it fairly cheap and fairly accessible.
$5.99, yeah. $4.99 price.
You can also check DC's website online. They give you upcoming previews, so that way, and they'll show you the cover shots. That way, you can see if there's titles that a lot of people pick up books starting from the cover, so you can see if there's maybe a story that you want to get into. With the Rebirth, it's a perfect time to start getting into it. So far, with everything storyline, everything's flowed pretty well. Continuities, across the board. So it's a very good read. Overall, I think here at Comic Book Straight Talk, we'll give it 4 mics out of 5 mics. We, Captain Downing and Knucklehead, both had it at 5, and Terry had it at 2. So
I didn't
we'll
have
come.
2.
Oh, he came to 3.
I'm
So we'll meet in the
always-
middle. At
I'm
4.
always
Yeah.
about a 3. On
We'll meet in the
everything.
middle at 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
No, no.
got to be real to get a 4 out of me.
And see, I being a Marvel fan for a lot of times and liking Batman. So anyway, yes.
Overall, I think that'll wrap up our Rebirth show. A lot of new things happening, exciting in DC. Artwork's great. Writing so far is great. Any questions, comments, check out the website, collectorcon.org. We've got our YouTube channel. Just type in Comic Book Straight Talk. We're on iTunes. Same thing, Comic Book Straight Talk. Make sure you subscribe to us. You can always go to the website. Email us any questions. We'll try to cover it on later shows.
Or correct our mistakes, like talking about Mockingbird.
Mockingbird is a Marvel character.
Mockingbird is the new Black Canary, guys. I don't know if you...
They won't do that crossover. But,
Well, it could be... Well, never mind.
so to wrap up, I'm the Knucklehead.
Captain Dalian.
Terry the French Tickler French.
All right, and we want to thank you for your time here at Comic Book Straight Talk.